and then I start recording here. Hello everybody, happy 2020. I know it's been a couple years since I've done this, but fuck it. Greetings. It is a new year, new me. Just kidding, I'm on the same bullshit. It's been a little while since I've done a little roundup of movies, but since movies are kind of like the reason I started this channel, I want to do it again. So I'm gonna. Now, in 2017, when I was young and handsome, I'm still handsome, but I used to be too, I recorded a video I called 2017 Roundup. Bad title, unclear, but moreover, I also did something that I cannot do this year, which was just give my top 5, explain why they were my top 5 movies of that year, and say, alright, stay tasty, and leave. I can't do that, or rather I won't, because my top 5 movies of 2019, not to give like such a ridiculous preface, are so fucking controversial that I wouldn't feel comfortable releasing that onto the internet and just letting it roam free, even with the knowledge that only maybe 45 people are going to watch this, if I'm lucky. So instead, I'm going to give you a slightly longer video in which I give you my top 10, because my top 10 is a little bit more reasonable and a lot less riot-inducing. So, let's get right down to it, shall we? Let's start with my number 10. My number 10 was released on January 31st, and it was none other than the incel heroine herself, Alita, in Alita Battle Angel. Now, I hate what she has become. I really cannot stand that she has become this, like, symbol of gross dudes who hate women, but kind of equate her with like, we like Sarah Connor and we like Ripley, so how I like titties, so how could I hate women? Because you do, and you don't take them seriously as human beings. Like, it's wild. The reason why it became such a controversial film is because it was unfortunately released around the same time as Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, unfortunately and fortunately, had the blessing and curse of being led by Brie Larson, an actress who I'm very, very fond of, and so was everyone else until she came out and said some things that were taken, let's say, poorly by fans of the MCU. So, to kind of counteract Brie Larson and to really show those Disney bastards the real kind of woman that the people want, they go to Alita, who happened to be there around the same time, wandering through, grabbing a slice of pie, in the cafe, and then, that she was just there. She was kind of the scapegoat. Now, Alita was something that I was not interested in whatsoever, because like everyone else, I was terrified of her appearance. But she blew me away. The action was phenomenal. The effects were positively outstanding. I loved everything about it. Robert Rodriguez is unmatched. And by that, I mean, I like him a lot because, there's also like Edgar Wright, there's like Tarantino, there's like a lot of people I really like. But I really love Robert Rodriguez. I don't know who else could have pulled this off. Just, it had such an incredible plot and action sequences and choreography, and just absolutely everything was fantastic. I think her name was Rose Salazar. She was Alita, did such a phenomenal job. You completely forget the fact that she has big, terrifying anime eyes immediately. Like, it was just wonderful. And it had a sequel sting, and it made so much money that one might think, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get a sequel. But because of the fact that cringy neckbeards decided to kind of make her their waifu unanimously, the studio is a little worried, justifiably so. So, I don't know if we're going to get a sequel. I am ashamed to love this movie as much as I do, but I'm also not, because it's great, and just because shitheads decide to commandeer something doesn't make it a less great thing. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Number 9 was released on April 26th, and this was none other than the head honcho, big bulging pantaloons himself, Avengers Endgame. Now, I saw this one, and it's the big culmination of everything the MCU has been steadily slumping towards for a decade. And of course, it was fan service, the movie. I mean, you thought that Ready Player One was going to be bad. This one was just non-stop stroking of just Kevin Feige and Stan Lee. Fuck Steve Ditko, but those two, they get the sauce. Like, I mean, I left so empty feeling. Like, Infinity War was so visceral and brutal and had this savage ending. I liked Endgame simply because of the fact that Infinity War was literally incomplete. That wasn't the ending of the story. No way was Spider-Man and Black Panther gonna stay dead and everyone else, fuck Vision, I guess. But like, there was no way everyone was gonna stay dead. So it was an incomplete movie. So just by virtue of Endgame being the conclusion of that movie, I liked it. But I don't know. I left feeling kind of vacant by the end. It had a lot of really stupid decisions, and it didn't make a lot of sense, and everyone broke character, especially Cap, Jesus Christ. But all in all, I really enjoyed it, obviously, as a fan of those movies, and it was satisfying to see a lot of stuff kind of tied up for the first time. And everyone together, of course, made me kind of squeal. So, I'm going to move on to number 8. My 8th favorite movie of 2019, released on May 10th. A pretty big surprise for me. Detective Pikachu. My girlfriend ended up loving it a lot more than I did because she's a massive Pokemon fan. I'm not really a huge fan of Pokemon besides the Pokemon themselves. Like, I don't play the games. I just love, like, Gengar and, like, Totodile. But this movie was so good. And I don't know. It was just so funny. It was very heartfelt. It was very genuine. The ending, though I did see coming, was still excellent, and I understand why they didn't cast Danny DeVito now. Like imagine everything about Detective Pikachu the exact same, except Danny DeVito is Detective Pikachu. So by the ending, it would take a lot. It would take people out of it if it was Danny DeVito. I don't know. It's probably fine to get into spoilers now. It's been out fucking forever, but like, I'll spare you. I'll just say that if Danny DeVito was Detective Pikachu, it would have been a very fucking different movie. I know people were rallying for that, as was I, but they made the right call. I love Justice Smith, I believe his name is. He is a great actor. He's in this very, very underrated Netflix show called The Get Down. Hugely recommend it. He was fantastic. All the characters were excellent. The visuals were very, very good. It set a great precedent for, I guess, translating video game characters into a live action setting that Sonic very clearly took inspiration from. They made it like, you don't have to make everything hyper realistic in order to translate it into like live action. I don't know why there's this misconception that you have to do that. So it makes me very wary for the upcoming live action like Tom and Jerry movie. I don't know if you guys know about that, but that's happening and there's nothing we can do to stop it. So it was very, very good, hugely surprising. Big recommendation, very funny. Pokemon fans and otherwise. I haven't been doing this, but I fucked up. I gave Endgame and Pikachu also a 4 out of 5. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. I'm going to move on to my 7th favorite movie. It was released on June 26th. None other than Spider-Man Far From Home, preceding Spider-Man Homeless until, Sony was bought out by Marvel. Wait, did that happen? No, that was Fox and everybody else. Anyway, it was really good. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Mysterio. I love his inclusion. I really, really enjoyed, not past tense, I enjoy Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Everyone does. He's the best Spider-Man. Like, no doubt about it. This movie was an excellent follow-up to Homecoming. I thought Mysterio was such a wonderful villain. I hate that everyone needs to be tethered to Iron Man somehow. Like, Spider-Man being Iron Man Jr., which isn't an original thing for me to say at all, and Mysterio just being another guy that Tony Stark pissed off is just tiresome. But he still did incredibly, which is unsurprising because Jake Gyllenhaal is that dude. He's just a monster. I love him. I've always loved him. Full homo. And yeah, cold take, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really, really liked it. And everything, the choreography, the humor, it all just worked for me. That's it. My 6th favorite movie. This is where the controversy comes in, true believers. Halfway through, and we're getting to the controversy. June 7th, Dark Phoenix. Please, no, I know. Alright, listen, not to put my tinfoil hat on or anything. If I had a tinfoil hat, this is where I would cut and put it on my head. But I was looking for one. This movie wasn't bad. It was good. Actually, like, I made a whole ass dissertation on why this movie was good and why people dismissing it right after Disney purchased Fox with the intent of revamping the mutants and the X-Men again is very, very sus. And, you know, I don't usually delve into conspiracies, but this is kind of some bullshit. I mean, so a decade of goodwill, and yes, some slip-ups.
He's already dead.
Yeah, but the fact that everyone so violently turned on this movie and the Fox X-Men just ridiculous. It was a good movie. Stupid decisions were made. Mystique was stupid. The way they handled Professor X was stupid. He was in the right, but they were acting like there was an argument about, like, no, should he have done what he did? Yes. What? And they sidelined Quicksilver like he sprained his ankle like in the first act, and he wasn't in the rest of the movie, despite the fact that he was the best part of the previous movies in this reboot. It was good, very emotional. Dazzler was there. Sophie Turner got her shit together. It was just, oh my god! If you like the X-Men, please just watch it. Give it a chance before you start to look up my address and dox me. Like, it was good. I don't know what you want me to say. I liked it. I'm gonna move on. I give it a 4 out of 5. Damn it. The next movie, and continuing on my controversial streak, the reason why Toy Story was very recently kicked out of my top 10.
So long, partner.
Was released January 25th. It was Polar, which I watched last night and stars Mads Mikkelsen. And I gotta tell you, man, I kind of loved this movie. I mean, I'm a Mads Mikkelsen shill. Like, I've been since I watched Hannibal. And just everything he's in, I just adore him. I don't know what it is. And I was so prepared for this to be terrible, trash, awful, garbage fire because of the reviews and Netflix's awful track record with original films. But this was like the most ridiculous parts of like Smoking Aces and John Wick combined into like a cocaine-fueled just fuck ball of filth. Doesn't sound very good, but it was great. It was so good, action-packed, incredible visuals. It looks like it was peeled directly off of a comic book page and slapped right onto a screen. He has a fucking eye patch. There's so much ass. The characters were wonderful. The dude from Bridesmaids, Rebel Wilson's brother, was the antagonist, and I'm the only one that seems to have been okay with it. I thought he was neat. I thought he was a weird dude. I haven't seen characters that were this clearly ripped from comic pages since Sin City. It's just so identifiable, so interesting and unique and dynamic. It was just so cool. I don't know, man. I just really liked it. I hate having opinions that no one agrees with. It's lonely in here. It's so lonely. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. And I literally watched it last night. It's destiny, man. I don't know. Now, we're in the top 5 now. We were since Polar, but number 4 was released on April 5th. And that was none other than my man's Shazam, also known as Captain Marvel. TM. So, Shazam, great film. I've been a DC stan for quite a while. I knew it would be good, and it fucked hard. And it just seeing everyone together, that multiracial group of superheroes at the very end thrilled me to no end. Like, it was just so satisfying to see like a black woman, an Asian dude, a Mexican man, like all together, shredded, sexy, kicking ass. Like, one movie in 2 hours that Marvel hasn't done in 10 years. It's just, no one really talks about that, but it was so funny. It was so well done. It was Zachary Levi, wonderful. All the kid actors, fantastic. I cannot just squeal about this movie enough. It was just, I had the goofiest smile on my face the entire time. It was just a magnetic experience. I absolutely adored this movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I know I'm like, when he adored, he's talking, you know, his pee-pee's been hard this entire time, and he gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm difficult. Leave me alone. The number 3 movie of 2019 for me, released on May 17th. This was probably my least controversial movie on this list, but Johnny Wick, Chapter 3. Though my opinion on the movie might be a little controversial, even though I really liked it. So even though I really liked it, and even though it's potentially my favorite in the franchise, it's a toss-up with the second one. I don't know, I left feeling kind of let down in a weird way. Like, it was good. It's like going to a restaurant and like you go there and you order this fucking salmon, and it's like the best salmon you've ever had. You wandered in there randomly off the street, you're a little drunk, it's late, they're the only place open. Oh, I'll take the salmon, and that shit sobers you up. It just releases all of your sweat glands, the hairs on your ass just stand up on its end, and you're like, this is it. I gotta come back again. You go back, you order the salmon again. You're like, boom, shakalaka, delicious, fantastic, wonderful, show-stopping, incredible. And then you come back a third time, and you're like, give me the best thing on the menu. I trust you guys. And they're like, I got you, sir. Don't worry about it. And then they just slide you another plate of salmon. And you're like, yeah, I'll have this for a third time. And you enjoy it. But it's like, damn, bro, can I get some fucking beef? Can I get a sandwich? God. Like, it was good, but I just was hoping that it was something more different than what they've been doing successfully for the last 2 movies. That's all. I gave it a 4 out of 5, though. Still stoked for the 4th one. Hope there's more savage kills with increasingly more and more ridiculous utensils. Can't wait for the kill with the inflatable pool tube. Number 2 is where we get into, I mean, this whole thing is super subjective, but number 2 is where we get into super duper subjective territory. It's released on November 12th. We got a film likely none of you have ever heard of, or very few. It's called Everybody's Everything. It should be unsurprising considering how I've mentioned countless times how Peep is my favorite rapper. I have like 2 or 3 tattoos inspired by him, one of which I literally just got. It's like the same font as his Crybaby. And like, I don't know. It was like a very messy, cluttered movie. It was a documentary about his life and his untimely death a couple years ago. And it had great like interviews and everything, but it felt a little clumsy. But that said, as a huge fan of Peep and his music, and someone who has, or was, and still is affected by his death, and X and Juice WRLD, literally all my favorite rappers, it's fucking crazy. It was very cathartic for me to watch this whole thing and everyone talking about him. This theater was packed, 300 people. I got my tickets in advance. I was one of the first people to get my ticket. This thing sold out, 300 people, all in different pieces of his merch. It was just so good. I don't know. I really loved it a lot. Despite all of its flaws, I gave it a 5 out of 5. And, you know, that's just me. It's probably not for people that aren't already acquainted with him and his music. My girlfriend was a little, like, befuddled, but I liked it. So, if you like his music, I think it's definitely worth a watch. We finally hit the number 1. What's it gonna be? The number 1 movie for me of 2019. Released on September 12th. The Steven Universe movie. I love Steven Universe, you guys. What can I say? Like, Oh my god, I had such a bad day that day. I was so tired, I was so frustrated, I was so upset, and then this movie just blesses me. An incredible antagonist, fantastic music, phenomenal animation. Just the entire thing was it was the perfect ending for the show. There is somewhat of an epilogue airing now called Steven Universe Future. That is good, but it's a follow-up. It's kind of like an OVA of Steven Universe in that it is just what happens now, what happens with everyone in the future, what happens with your jobs, your relationships, your friendships, all of it. So it doesn't have the same punch as Steven Universe did, but that's not what it's meant to do, so it's fine. Steven Universe the movie had all of the absolute best parts of the show condensed into this just perfect send-off. Just absolutely everything about it. I feel like if you're not acquainted with the show, you won't understand it, but you'll be able to appreciate it. It was just so good. It was just such a great film. I really cannot gush about it enough. I'm absolutely obsessed with the show, and I'm just so happy about it. It made me really, really happy. It became my number one instantly. Like, I don't know. I too am surprised, honestly. So, if you want to talk about movies that like aren't documentaries or TV movies, then the two that got booted off are Toy Story 4 at number 11 and Terminator Dark Fate at number 12. Oh, there's a boost. Okay, I was good. So, that is my extremely subjective top 10 of 2019. Let's hope that 2020 brings in more bangers. I'm hoping so. You got Birds of Prey. You got Wonder Woman. You got others, probably. Oh, there's Tenet, the rhythm section, lots and lots of sequels, and I think Marvel has some nonsense coming out this year. Black Widow, The Eternals, But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I was really excited to make this to talk about movies. I wish I didn't feel forced to do top 10 instead of top 5, so I had more time to delve into how I feel about each movie. But, what can you do? Thanks for watching. I hope you had a good new year, and I hope you have a great new year. And I'll see you all next time with whatever I decide to do. Either a request or another movie thing. Probably a request, because that's what people watch. Stay tasty, my friends. Don't roast me too much. Movies are extremely subjective.
Can't trust these girls, they're like leeches. They suck you until they are through. I thought that you would be different, but on second thought that was true. If I was ever important, then why would you leave me to die? Keep saying beautiful things, keep saying beautiful lies. Tell me you know me, tell me you need me, tell me you never leave me just to leave me.
Is that it? Is that it? Is that all I wanted to do? It feels so anticlimactic, I feel so anticlimactic. I don't know. Alright, yeah. I guess that's it.